Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 59 of the NordCast. It is Tuesday, June 25th, 2024. In some areas, though, it is actually June 24th, 2024, depending on if you live in the West Coast or not. We're recording this very early in the morning, if you guys didn't know, or late. Anyways, I'm your host, Order97, joined here with Carter. You can tell we're very tired. Carter, how are we doing?
Not good. The cup stays in America. Canada loses. I'm very depressed.
And we also have Jack here. Whoop, whoop.
Yep.
Jack, how you doing?
Yeah, Canada still does not have a cup in my lifetime, so kind of wild.
Me too. So, Carter, how does it feel to lose to the 31-year straight Stanley Cup champions in America?
It's actually 30 straight, not 31, but you can try it again.
Okay. All right. 30 straight.
Actually, I have no idea. I could be wrong. I don't know. It sucks, but a lot of your guys are from Canada, so it doesn't fucking matter.
That's true.
You got a
You
good
guys have
point
never
there.
won a Super Bowl, though.
You guys have never won a Grey Cup, so
Yeah, and I'd rather a Super Bowl over
Who
a
cares
Grey
about the Grey Cup?
I don't think you would.
Goofy Grey Cup.
It's a cooler trophy.
Oh my god.
The Lombardi
All right.
is kind of lame, but
Oh my god.
It has a dent in it from Gronkowski.
Jesus. All right, so we are recording this after Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. The Florida Panthers just won the 2024 Stanley Cup. Before we get into this, I do want to congratulate the Florida Panthers in winning the Cup. Honestly, I did not think we would be, talking this late at night. Last week, me and Carter made an episode. We said that Florida was probably going to win it in 5 or 6, and we were wrong. The Oilers did something that does not happen very often, came back from down 3-0, and there was a part of me that genuinely thought the Oilers were going to win Game 7 tonight. But then I woke up this morning and I thought to myself, Panthers are going to win tonight, aren't they? I had that feeling in my head. They're going to win tonight, aren't they? And I watched Game 7. Florida goes up 1-0. I was like, all right, it's early in the game. There's plenty of time. Oilers tie it pretty much right afterwards. Ullmark had a great goal. The hype was there. Tied 1-1 after 1. Second period, Oilers pressure Bobrovsky. Puck goes the other way. Sam Reinhart makes it 2-1. And the Oilers just, through the rest of that game, through the rest of the second and the entire third period, just could not beat Bob. And as a result, the Panthers are your Stanley Cup champions. So, first off, I wanted the Oilers to win. I am very sad, honestly, that they didn't win. I was rooting for the Oilers basically from Game 4 on. I wanted to see McDavid win a Stanley Cup because the amount of marketing you could do with that is insane. I wanted to see Corey Perry break that drought, win a cup. I wanted to see the narrative of the two-player team. The team's never going to be. I was sick of seeing that narrative. I wanted to see it end, and unfortunately, it did not. So, first off, what was the experience like for you guys seeing them come back from down 3-0 and losing this 7th game? Are you guys as heartbroken as I am right now?
Probably not as much as you guys. Just because when a team loses in the Stanley Cup final, like last year, Florida, it's always nice to see them, finally get one. It's good for the players, good for the coaches. I mean, 2 years in a row would be so brutal, especially if you're up 3-0. You just have to feel for them. But, yeah, Oilers coming back down 3-0, obviously. It was just too good to be true. And Florida on their home ice. There were a lot of Oilers fans there, but Florida on their home ice, I don't know. It just felt like they were going to win that game. So, yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a series.
Yeah, I agree. I look at Stanley Cup finals that I've seen in my lifetime. This is probably most definitely top 3. I don't know if it's the best, but it's most definitely top 3. Just witnessing something like this in the Stanley Cup finals, it's only happened twice before this year, is definitely something that you will remember forever. And I am extremely grateful to have witnessed this. I just wish that the Oilers would have been able to complete it. And unfortunately, they couldn't do it. Now, Carter, you have faced a lot of heartbreak over the last week. The Mavericks lost in Game 7, or in Game 5, sorry, last week. And now you see your Oilers lose in 7. Carter, what's going through your head right now? How are you feeling?
Do not be a fan of any sports team that Carter likes. That is what we are going to set it as. Dallas choked, played like absolute garbage. I think I already touched base on that. Actually, no, I didn't, because they were playing the day after we recorded. Whatever. Anyways, Dallas blew it. That sucked. Canada blew it. What else do we have? I talked about the CFL. The Blue Bombers suck. They're 0-3. Jets are pulling Cutter Gauthier 2.0 out of their ass right now, which is just outstanding. What other sports do I... Oh, the only good thing is that the Flyers are going to have Mitchkov hopefully coming over, so that's just great. Other than that, like, do not be a fan of any sports team that I care about. Eagles, that's another one. Football season starts up soon. I'm actually excited about that. So other than that, do not be a fan of anything that I am if you want to keep your sanity.
So you're saying we should be a fan of Jack's teams. We should be Chicago sports fans. Because my teams are ass. So, I mean, Jack's the only person in this group that has seen his team win a Stanley Cup or a championship alone.
3 times.
Hey, Eagles. It's Blue Bombers.
Well, hockey.
I'll never.
He said championship. He said championship. He didn't specify. Oh. At first he did, then he changed it to championship. So suck it, Nordic.
Oh my God. I'll never like get over Philly sports. I'll never, because the Sixers are like the Maple Leafs of the NBA. The Flyers can't make the playoffs. The Phillies are the Phillies. They'll probably choke in the NCLS again. And then the Eagles they were so good in the first 10 games of the season, and then just fell off a cliff. I have no idea. Anyways, we're getting off topic. We're going towards our own teams. But congratulations to the Florida Panthers. They definitely earned this one. A lot of us had doubted them in the past. I would also like to say that NordCast legend Anthony Stolarz is a Stanley Cup champion.
That's right.
I'll never let you live that down, Jack.
Not sure why he didn't start Game 7, but
I know. I figured with Bobrovsky not practicing, I figured, you know what, it's Stolarz' time for Game 7. Yeah. When I saw that, I was like, oh man, please let it happen. And even too, when he started in Game 4. I was like, oh no, here we go. He's about to make a big comeback here. But yeah, he's a Stanley Cup champion. Other guys who won Stanley Cups, first ever. There's a lot of guys who have won first cups. I think there's a few players on that team that have won before, like Tarasenko. I know has won before. Verhaeghe's won a cup before with Tampa. Apart from that, there's a lot of first time winners. Besides Tkachuk, Reinhart, Ekblad, the obvious ones. Okposo won a Stanley Cup tonight. Congratulations to him. Always liked him. Was with Buffalo and New York for a long time. Ekman Larson won a Stanley Cup. Arizona and Vancouver for many years. I'm trying to think too. Sam Bennett won a Stanley Cup as well tonight. Who else? Who else is like a first time? Kulikov spent some time with the Oilers. Was really a defenseman that bounced around the league a lot. Evan Rodriguez won a Stanley Cup as well tonight. So big congratulations to him too. But yeah,
everyone outside of Senko and Verhaeghe is first time cup winners.
Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of first time guys. Congratulations to them. I do want to bring something up here though. Sergei Bobrovsky. He's got 2 Vezinas. He's got a Stanley Cup. Almost got a Conn Smythe. He's backstopped multiple teams to Cup finals. He's won a Stanley Cup now. Do you guys think he cemented himself as a Hall of Famer?
Probably, yes.
Carter?
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely got a good case. Like, I don't know how hard it is for goaltenders to establish themselves in there because we got to remember too, like he's had some like pretty mediocre seasons, but he has kind of really started to reestablish himself as an elite goaltender, especially in this playoffs outside of games 4 to 6. He's really proven to be an elite goaltender. So I'd probably wait to see what he's got in the tank for the next 2 years before I'd be for sure comfortable calling him a Hall of Famer, but I think he's got a really good case right now.
He's got the hardware to make the argument for it. I think that if he gets even if he's probably not going to win the Vezina this year, but he is the finalist. There's someone in Winnipeg who's going to win that. But regardless, I think that he's definitely made a good case. He probably most likely does win it, to be honest with you, or does make the Hall of Fame, to be honest with you. I think a Stanley Cup and a few Vezinas under your belt definitely warrants that. We'll see, though. We'll see if Bobrovsky's the one to do it. As for the other guys, Roberto Luongo's a Stanley Cup champion, too. Congratulations to him. Obviously went through a lot of years with Vancouver and Florida. Paul Maurice, Stanley Cup champion as well. Congratulations to him. And Bill Zito was also a champion, too. So, awesome stuff there. Conn Smythe winner was Connor McDavid. It's the first time in a while that a losing skater has won the Stanley Cup. We've seen win the Conn Smythe. We've seen goalies win the Conn Smythe on losing teams, but we've never seen a skater, I don't think, since 76 when Reggie Leach did it as the Flyers. So it's a pretty impressive feat there for McDavid. Joins a pretty rare company of players for sure. So he definitely deserves it. I would also like to say, too, Crosby, Sidney Crosby, lost his first Stanley Cup final, and he went on to win three Stanley Cups. So it's not over for McDavid. It's not over for the Oilers. But one final thing here on the Stanley Cup Finals before we get into some trade news and stuff. What do you guys think we're going to see like with the Oilers this offseason? Big changes? Anything along those lines? Is Skinner going to go? Are they going to move on from players? What do you guys think happens here?
I think maybe a trade for a goalie, and I think you still need probably one or two middle six guys. I think that should be their main focus.
Carter?
It's got to come down to goaltending. I think that Stuart Skinner did have his moments in these series, but he also had his bad moments. He was kind of off and on, hot and cold, kind of all throughout this playoff run. Like you get him for 2 games and he's hot, and then 2 games he's cold, and it just kind of bounced back and forth in between that. And then you can go through a long stretch where he's cold, he's ice cold, and then boom, those 3 games he was hot.
Mm-hmm.
Like just played outstanding, and you can't rely on a hot and cold goaltender when you need to win 7 games, because all it takes is a couple of games and you're screwed. You're done. So I think they really got to address that. I think they got to get a little bit more help on that back end a little bit. It's going to be hard to move Darnell Nurse, but you got to figure out a way to get rid of him. I think for $9 million, he's not worth that. You can get 2 solid defensemen for that price. That would really help. And I wouldn't even go offensive defensemen, because I think you get that out of Bouchard and you get a little bit of that out of Ekholm. So if you could get some nice defensive defensemen to help Stuart Skinner, if you don't end up getting a different goaltender, that would be the right move. But you're not getting rid of Darnell Nurse. Let's be real here.
Yeah. He's staying a Edmonton Oiler through the rest of that contract. He was horrible in these playoffs. I think with Skinner, he's young. That's a big thing. He's young. This is his first really big run as the starting goalie. Even last year, like, he really wasn't. Like, even Jack Campbell started a couple of games in the 2023 playoffs. And it's interesting because I think there are some goalie options out there. Now, we've seen a lot of them get traded, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But I think that's the first thing you have to at least look into if you're the Oilers. Like Skinner, I don't think's a bad goalie, but he's hot and cold. I think he can be a goalie that's really good, but At least at this stage, he's not that yet. We'll see what he brings next year. But I think that when you're looking in terms of what costed them this final, even though Skinner kept them in a lot of games and was part of the reason why it went 7, Skinner's also part of the reason why they went down 3-0 in the first place. So that's the biggest thing you got to look at there. But I think the Oilers, they have a good enough team to last for a while. They will be able to make it back to a final very soon. We'll see if it's next year. We'll see if it's a couple of years from now. But I don't think they're done just yet. I think they're going to come back and win another and try and go back for another cup here. But regardless, the Oilers win, or the Panthers win the Stanley Cup. Congratulations to them. That's all we got to say in regards to that. We'll definitely bring that up in other podcast episodes as well. But anywho, we're going to get straight into some news and rumors here. So not a ton here because we don't want to really, go overboard with this because actually it is like 12:30 on my end. So we want to just go with the trade that we've seen. The Ottawa Senators have acquired goalie Linus Ullmark from the Boston Bruins in exchange for goalie Joonas Korpisalo with 25% salary retained, a 2024 first, which is the 25th overall pick, and Mark Kastelik. So what do you guys think about this trade?
Yeah, it's a good acquisition for Ottawa, who's kind of in a weird spot, but I think this does make them a very, I wouldn't say playoff contender just yet, but I think they're right there, and it's a good move for their future for sure. So
we're all a little bit hesitant on saying Ottawa becoming a playoff team because we have some
PTSD.
we have some wounds that we've experienced in this pod. So yeah. Carter, what do you think about this deal?
I think it's great for Boston for sure. I think you already knew that you weren't going to keep Linus Ullmark, and getting a first-round pick, a decent backup goalie to back up Jeremy Swayman, as well as a guy as well who I don't really know a whole heck of a lot about.
Fourth line great guy. Enforcer type guy.
So that's not bad. I think that'll really help you, especially come playoff time, if he does still make your lineup. I like it for Boston for sure. You'll be able to get a decent prospect with the 25th pick, and I guess we'll find out who we're taking when we get to our full mock draft here. I like it. I like the move for Boston. I'll be hesitant to call it on Ottawa just yet, because I feel like this also put them in a weird spot.
Yeah, I like it for the Sens within reason. I think that if they can re-sign Ullmark to an extension, then I definitely think that this is a win. This is a huge win for the Sens. That being said, I think the Bruins, they really got as much as they could have gotten. I think they could. I think the Sens did a great job here getting rid of the Korpisalo deal, even if Ullmark stays or not. People say that Korpisalo was bad this year, which, yes, he was. But I do think that under Boston's system, he will be better. And playing as a backup and not a starter seems more realistic to what Korpisalo is as a goalie. Then you get a draft pick, which the prospect pool with the Bruins is already terrible, and then you get a good grit guy in Kastelik, so not too bad there. We'll move into the other trade here. Jacob Markstrom was traded to the Devils with 31% retained in exchange for Kevin Ball and a first-round pick, which is top 10 protected in 2025. Good deal here for the Devils. They get their goalie. You guys have any thoughts on that? There's not a whole lot to say. Devils get their solid goalie here. There's not a whole lot there. So, and finally, Matvei Michkov is going to the Philadelphia Flyers. Finally, signed a 3-year entry-level contract with the team, or is going to. We got terminated by SK Moscow, so they get their top prospect there. Thank God. And then finally, I forgot to mention one more thing. The Washington Capitals acquired Pierre-Luc Dubois from the LA Kings in exchange for goalie Darcy Kuemper. Carter, as a Dubois hater, what is your thoughts on this deal?
I don't know if I'm a Dubois hater. I'm a Dubois. I don't know what the fuck I am with him.
Okay, all right, sorry.
Because here's the thing. I like the way he plays. I think that he has all the tools to be an elite player, but he doesn't use it. I I guess you can kind of call me hater because I hated how he kind of treated his exit from Winnipeg, how he just wanted to get the fuck out, even though he was loved by the city, he was loved by the fans. He's a great guy. I think he really would have thrived if he stayed another year. Glad we fucking traded his ass though.
Oh.
But I really do think that I know Chicklets talked about this on their podcast. If Pierre-Luc Dubois is lost love for the game, I talked about that last podcast where it seems like that's what it is. He just doesn't look interested in hockey right now. I think that Washington is taking on a little bit of a risk here, especially. But they're trading away a goaltender that they didn't need to get a player who could actually have a breakout year. He's only 25 years old. I feel like a lot of people think that he's older than that. Like he's like 28, 29, and this is like a horrible trade. He's still 25. Like there's 25-year-olds who break out. Like he's nearing his prime. Like there's still a chance for him. I wouldn't jump the gun on Pierre-Luc Dubois too soon. I think it's just going to take some time for him to either find the love for the game or just get hot at the right time. But don't give up on PLD. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It looks like 2 bad contracts just being exchanged. The Kings get a better goalie in Kemper than I would say Cam Talbot. So I like that. But yeah, that's your news and rumors. We have a big topic coming up here. So we're not going to be able to probably make an episode before the draft coming this Friday and free agency. We're not going to do anything for free agency. We'll just talk about that next episode. But we are going to do a full first-round mock draft of the 2024 draft. So that is coming right your way. Let's go. So today is the day. It is our final 2024 mock draft. We have all 32 picks here. The last 2 that we've done, we've only done 16 picks. This time, we are doing the full first round. So with the Stanley Cup winner being announced in the Florida Panthers, we now have the full draft order. Unless if picks get traded around between then and now, this is your official draft order heading into the first round of the draft. So regardless, we're going to get straight into it here because we're going to be here for a little bit. But Carter has the first overall pick. He has had the first overall pick for all 3 of our mock drafts here. So, Carter, who are you going with this first overall selection to the San Jose Sharks?
We got to keep this short and sweet. This is a long draft. It's going to be the guy who has stayed the consensus number 1 for the last 2 fucking years. Give me Macklin Celebrini to the San Jose Sharks.
Yeah, I don't think there's any other consensus there. One thing we are going to do, though, is give some player comparisons to each guy. Macklin Celebrini's comparison is to Elias Pettersson. So, nice. So going to be a good 2-way forward, has that assets to him. There's not much else to be said there. He's definitely a top-notch guy. Played very well at Boston University. Again, he won't be as great as Bedard, but he's still going to be pretty good. So going to number 2 here at second overall to the Chicago Blackhawks, we have Jack with his favorite team. Jack, in the first one, you went with Demidov. The second one, you went with Demidov. There's been some opinions with the Blackhawks. Has yours changed?
Mine has not changed. I think they are going to probably lean toward Demidov just to get Bedard some forward help. So yeah, I'm going to stick with Demidov.
Okay. So there's been some rumors that Demidov might drop in the draft, which is very possible. I think it definitely can happen. There's a lot of talk of that going on. But I think he's still a good, solid, he is a little bit undersized, but he's still a great offensively talented forward. Put up great numbers with St. Petersburg in the MHL, KHL. So is a guy that I'm definitely looking forward to see there. On the right side to Bedard if he does end up going at that spot. Number 3 is where it gets interesting. There is so many different things that I've seen where I've seen that Levshunov goes 3rd, Perrick goes 3rd, Dickinson goes 3rd, Boyum goes 3rd. I'm going to go off the board here. When we took the last mock draft we did, we took this guy at 10th overall. Give me Anton Silyev at third overall here. I'm gonna go a shocker here. Now, hear me out. Pat Verbeek, a lot of his time in Anaheim, he's gone off the board a lot in his drafts. And with Silyev, I think he's a great defensive defenseman. He's comparable as Victor Hedman. So he has the potential. And I think Anaheim wants a good defensive defenseman, which is what Silyev is. By the way, Demidov's comparable player is Mitch Marner. Forgot to say that. I'm going to forget a lot in this video, but I think Silyev goes third. I think he's a great defensive guy. I think that Anaheim's looking for someone like that. So it makes things interesting there for the Columbus Blue Jackets at fourth. Carter, who are you taking at fourth overall? Carter, I can't hear you.
Fuck. With the fourth overall pick, the Columbus Blue Jackets, they're going to take a forward here. They're going to go Caden Lindstrom out of Medicine Hat.
Okay, I like that pick. Lindstrom from our first draft rises up from the fifth overall pick, so not a whole lot there. But definitely a solid, big, sizable forward. His comparison's Mikko Rantanen, so it's pretty sick there. Fifth overall to the Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Jack. Who are you taking?
Yeah, I'm gonna go Zane Parks.
Nice. I like the Parrot pick. He went an eighth overall in our original one or our second one, but I think Parrick's definitely his stock value's risen up a little bit since then. A good defensive defenseman. His comparability is Brent Burns. So interesting selection there. Sixth overall to Utah. It's interesting he's dropped this far, but I've seen mock drafts where it's possible. Give me Levshunov at sixth overall here. He's gone third overall in our last two. It's interesting he's dropped down this far, actually. But give me Levshunov there. His comparability is actually Jacob Chikrin. So I think he'll be a little bit better than Chikrin, but still interesting there. Great. Led Michigan State to, I think, a Frozen Four. Did they make the Frozen Four? I think he was in the, no, it was, never mind. But he was definitely a part of the reason why they went further in the playoffs than expected. Seventh overall to the Ottawa Senators. We go back to Carter here. Carter, who are you taking at the seventh overall pick here?
With the 7 overall pick, I'm going to take national champion Zeev Bynum.
Ooh, okay. I like that. He won a national championship this year with Denver. Very solid defenseman. He could go even as high. Oh, he could go even as high as I've seen fourth overall. I think in our first one he went all the way down to 10th, but our last one he went 6th. Now he's going 7th. So Boyum's definitely a bouncer in our draft rankings, but I think the consensus he's going to go between 10th and 5th overall. I don't see him going any higher than that, but I mean, hey, it's possible. So we'll see what goes down there. But I'll go back to Jack here with I'll just go Denver. But Jack, who are you taking at 8th overall to the Seattle Kraken?
I'm gonna go Berkeley Catton.
I like that. Catton, the thing with Berkeley Catton is there's some concern about his size, potentially with his team. I think I didn't mention Boyum's comparison is Devon Tays, by the way, and Berkeley Catton's comparison is Sebastian Aho. So we had Catton going as low as 14th overall in our last draft. But at 8th overall, seems like that might be where he goes. He might drop down to the 14th pick, but it does seem like he may go in the top 10. But I've seen some talks of maybe his size being a concern. You see guys with lower size drop a little bit lower in this draft. But yeah, Berkeley Catton going at 9th. Interesting here. Aginla's still on the board. Aginla's gone 9th overall. I think both times we've done this. Actually, no, he went 12th in our first one. He's going ninth again. I think honestly, there's a legitimate chance that he goes higher. I think there's a chance. I'm not disregarding what Jack made here, but I think there's a good chance Montreal goes a forward. And I think if Iginla's there, they might go with him. We'll see, but I think Iginla at the ninth overall pick, he won't go past there if we're being realistic. So 10th overall here, we're 10 picks through, going to Carter yet again here. Carter, who are you going to take? Carter, we can't hear you again.
Bro, I gotta stop accidentally muting my mic.
All right, it's all right.
I think with this pick, I think they're gonna take a defenseman. I have them going Sam Dickinson out of London.
I honestly, by the way, TJ Ginlow's comparisons, Braden Hagel. I actually forgot that Dickinson was still on the board. Sam Dickinson is a defenseman that I definitely think is probably going to go higher in this draft than 10th overall for sure. When we look at this, definitely every single time we've done this, there's been legitimate changes. Like outside of the top two, I think in every single draft, there's been changes everywhere. So for sure, I think that this draft is all over. But Dickinson at 10th, it'd be a shocker for sure, and I'd be really disappointed, especially since the Flyers are 2 picks behind that. But regardless, definitely something to bring up. 11th overall to the Buffalo Sabres. Back to Jack here. Jack, who are you taking?
I'm gonna go Cole Eiserman.
Ooh, okay. So Eiserman was definitely a guy who throughout our rankings has definitely risen, fallen. He's gone a lot. Eiserman was 4th in our second mock draft, and I think he was like 14th. Or he was 5th in our one. So he's gone around a lot in our lists. But I definitely think the consensus is that he's no longer a top 10 pick. So 11th seems interesting to me. I think that's realistic. So at 12th overall, me and Carter, since we're both Flyers fans, we have the chance here to potentially make a selection here. So Carter, we took Yakimchuk, and before that, I think we took Iginla. Yakimchuk's still on the board. Iginla is not. Who do you think we should go with here at 12th?
I think we still need a defenseman, so I feel like Yakimchuk's the right move here.
I don't know. Who else is on the board? I don't know. We could go with Yakimchuk or yeah, I think we go with Yakimchuk. I think our bigger need is a defenseman. I think we've shown that also too in our rumors. So I think Yakimchuk's the best pick there at 12th overall. Back to Jack here at 13th overall to the Minnesota Wild. Jack, with your big yawns, who are you going with here?
I'm gonna go Consta Hellenius.
Hellenius at 13th overall, not a bad pick there. Played a lot in the Finnish leagues. Definitely a size forward, good in the men's leagues there in Finland. So I think he's a good pick. He was at 11th overall in our second draft, and he was at 14th overall in our first one. So nice. 14th overall here to the Sharks. We get Carter here yet again. He had the chance last draft to build a solid Sharks team with their picks. He has a chance to do that again. Carter, who are you taking here with 14th overall?
With the 14th overall pick, I am taking another forward here. I'm taking Beckett Sinek.
Yes. Seneke, I don't even think he's been in our last drafts. I don't even think he's made the cut in any of them because he's been a real sleeper in these last couple of drafts. He is a right wing. Seneke plays for the Oshawa Generals. Could be a sneaky forward if I can spell his name. But definitely a good player at the 14th pick there for the Sharks. 15th overall, back to me now for the Red Wings. I think I'm going to go with, looking at my options, I'm going to go with Michael Brandseg Nygaard here at the 15th overall pick. I think he's a solid, very solid right winger who definitely has the assets and the skill level to be a legitimate NHL player. So I'm going with Nygaard here at the 15th overall pick. Jack, back to you at 16th overall. We're almost halfway through this draft. Jack, who are you taking here?
I'm gonna go Adam Yurchek.
Okay, I like that pick. Juracek's gone in the top 16 through a lot of ours. We're actually decently high on Juracek in a lot of our drafts. He's ranked 20th by the Hockey News. His comparable is actually Gustav Forsling. So solid comparison there. Is actually a Stanley Cup champion, coincidentally enough. Juracek there at 16. Back to Carter at 17th here. Carter, who are you going with at the 17th overall pick?
Well, they just acquired a center, so I don't see them taking one of the top centers I have on my board. I have them taking Trevor Connolly out of Tri-City.
I like that. So Connolly's a little bit controversial. He's had a few controversial moments in his career. I'm trying to find his name here on the list. He actually ranked 27th by the Hockey News. I think he has been on our list before, though. He was 15th overall in our first one. I don't think he made the cut in our second one. But Connolly has the assets to be a solid forward, but it's a wonder if he's going to get to the level that he's expected to. Because I really think, to be honest with you, the prospects drop off after the 13th pick or the 15th pick. I think after that, it's a lot of guys in these pools. So 18th overall to the Blackhawks. Jack, with your first pick, you went with a forward. Who are you going with here now?
We just have too many defensive prospects, so I'm gonna go Michael Hage.
Michael Hage here. He is a center. He played for the Chicago Steel in the United States Hockey League. So not a bad pick there. I'm not too high on Hage. Had 75 points in 54 games played. His comparative is Jonathan Marchessault. He's going to need some time to really get to the level, but he definitely with development is going to be a good player. Back to me here with the 19th overall pick. I think with Vegas' selection here, they got guys on the board that are options. I feel like they go with someone who's been in our rankings plenty of times before. I'm going with Liam Greentree here from Windsor. Has attitude issues, which has made him drop in previous seasons. But I think that there's a legitimate chance that he is going to go at this 20th overall selection or 19th overall selection there for the Golden Knights. I feel like it just screams Vegas Golden Knight to me. So, yeah. With the 20th overall pick here now, we're into the 20s. Carter, you have the New York Islanders. Who are you going with?
I got them taking Jet Luchenko out of Guelph.
Guelph Storm. Let me find his. All right, here we go. So Luchenko's a center. A lot of centers here, as you can tell in this class. He had 74 points in 68 games played with Guelph. His comparable is actually William Karlsson, so not a bad choice there. Good, solid center. He definitely carried them through a lot of points because Guelph was not a contender this year. So I give a lot of credit to them. 21st overall to the Kings. There's a lot of picks here you could go with. I'm going to go with, looking at my options here, I'm going to go with Tariq Parasak from, I think that's Prince George Cougars. Right wing there. Definitely needs time to develop, but I think with the right development from the LA Kings could be a decent right winger there. His comparable is actually the Tyler Toffoli. So not a bad comparable there when you're looking in terms of players. So 22nd overall here to the Nashville Predators. We got Jack yet again. Jack, I know you're tired, but who are you going with here at 22nd overall?
I'm gonna go. I don't know if I'm saying this right. Satian Solberg.
Satian Sol. Let me find his name here real quick. Saw him. Hang on a second. Did I go over his name here? Hang on. I don't know why I can't find him on my list. I know he's definitely here. All right, hang on a second. Carter, do you know where he played at? I'm trying to find that.
Yeah. I played Valgaria, left defenseman.
Okay, so he is a defenseman. Oh, found him. Okay. All right. So he's comparable is actually Jake McCabe. Interesting there. Is actually ranked 55th overall by the Hockey News, but I've seen rankings that he's been higher. So Jack, you're not completely wrong. Completely wrong. Um, I don't even know what that team is. I'm just gonna put Valeria. But not a bad defenseman. I think Nashville has definitely defensive prospects to load up on. I think it wouldn't be bad to go with the defenseman there. Toronto. I think the Maple Leafs go that same route. I'm just trying to figure out. Oh, it's Carter's pick. Never mind. Carter, who are you going with the 23rd overall pick here?
Uh, I got them taking someone who has a brother who is already in the league, as well as also on a Canadian team. I'm thinking they're going to go Cole Hudson here.
You know what would be crazy? Let me see if I can find him on my rankings here real quick. That's wild to think that Lane Hudson is on the Canadians and Cole Hudson would be on the Maple Leafs. That is like next level rivalry stuff there. That would be, man, that would be marketable for years with the NHL for sure. So I like that picture. Let me find him real quick because I've seen a lot of rankings where he's ranked really low, but I've also seen rankings where he's ranked like substantially high. So let me try and find him here real quick. He's definitely not in the top 50. Um, yeah, no. I cannot find him unless if I'm blind. We're into those guys that like I don't know too well. Yeah, wow. I don't know. All right. So Cole Hudson, I who does he play for again?
The development program.
Okay, so not a horrible pick there. I've seen them picked in the first round a lot in these drafts. We'll see where he goes realistically, but not a terrible pick. 24th overall to the Avalanche. I think this guy's definitely underrated a lot. I'm gonna go with Saka Boisvert from I don't even know what team that is. Muskegon, I think it's Outlaws from the United States Hockey League. Oh, and Jack is gone. Jack just disappeared from the Zoom call, so we'll have to go on without Jack here for a second. But Boisvert, I think he's a solid center whose comparable is actually Charlie Coyle. So interesting pick there. 25th overall to the Bruins. I will take this pick for Jack since he vanished off the face of the earth. I will go with Dean Latorno from I think that's St. Andrews Academy. I think. I'm not too sure on these later guys, but definitely his comparable is actually Tage Thompson. So definitely going to take some time to develop for sure. But I think that with time, he can become that player. 26th overall to the Montreal Canadiens. Carter, your jaw dropped. What's happening here?
That was my sleeper pick.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I didn't think anyone would have him, but I guess you did. I
Yeah.
I just gotta say, this kid's 6'7".
Is he really? Oh my
He
God,
is
he is.
six. He's 6'7", and he put up like 2.5 points per game. I don't care what league it is. It's still AAA. It's U18. I don't care. That is ridiculous to be 6'7", putting up 2.5 points per game. I just thought I'd say that. That's who I was going to take with this pick, but I guess I'm not. With this pick though, I am going to give the Montreal Canadiens Igor Chernisov, MHK Dynamo Moscow.
So someone from the KHL there. I think that's a good selection. I think he does go later in the first round for sure. This is actually Winnipeg's pick, by the way. His comparable is Valerie Nichushkin. So definitely a interesting selection there. Yeah, Carter, that same face is what I'm making. Carolina Hurricanes, 27th overall. I'm looking at who's on the board here still. I'm gonna go with Emil Hemming here. From TPS, same place that Capo Caco came from. His comparison is Jake DeBrusk. Not too bad. 28th overall to the Calgary Flames. I'll go with this pick as well since Jack disappeared. We'll go with Matvei Greedon, right wing from also Muskegon. So some guys going from Muskegon here in the top 32. So Matvei Greedon, his comparison is actually Nick Schmaltz. So solid pick there. Carter, who are you going here with the 29th overall pick? Only a couple more picks left.
Okay, so you went Emil Emming and Matvei Greedon, who I do not have on my list. Dallas. I am going to give Dallas Andrew Basha, forward from Medicine Hat.
Okay, all right, that's a good pick. I like Basha. I definitely learned some stuff about him. Good shot forward, good skater, a lot of skill in managing the puck. His comparable is Seth Jarvis. Could be a steal here at 29th for the Stars. So
just how they like it.
Yeah, pretty much. 30th overall to the Rangers. Back to me here. With the Rangers, it's interesting who they would go with. I think they're gonna go with. I'm gonna go with. Let me look at my board here. Let's see who's still in. I'm gonna go with Tanner Howe. Howe has been on some interesting rankings. Recently, he is from Modo Junior, which I think is a league in Switzerland. His comparable is Eric Holla, and Jack is back. Welcome back, Jack. Jack? It says he's here. Okay. And with yeah, he is. Hi, Jack.
Here we go.
Welcome back. You're just in time for your final pick. I did some picks for you, so hope you're not.
Is it me? Okay. Let's see. I have Saka Boisvert.
He's already been.
He already went. He already went 24th overall. Okay. Let's see. I'll go Nikita Artamanov.
Okay. All right. That's someone who we didn't go with yet. Let me just go back to him here real quick. Left wing from Niz Novgorod from the KHL. His comparable is Blake Coleman, so not a bad pick there. And finally, with the 32nd overall selection to the Philadelphia Flyers, Carter, who do you think we should go with here with the Flyers pick?
Well, do we want to go forward?
We went a defenseman earlier. I think we should go with the forward here at least.
Okay. I would say we should go with Paul Bowden. I don't know how to say his name. He's from Barrie. He's a center.
Yeah, I think that's who we should go with too. His comparable is Anthony Sorelli. So good selection there for the Philadelphia Flyers. And yeah, that completes our 2024 final mock draft. Thank you all for tuning in for this full first round draft. We learned a lot of prospects we don't know a whole lot about here. Apologies for Jack leaving midway through. Not his fault, but it is what it is. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you guys next time we do a redraft or a mock draft. So one final thing we want to do here before we end episode number 59 of the NordCast is I want to talk about just the season overall, what we went through this year, and just everything. So first off, thanks for everyone who listened to all the podcasts this year. It was a fun year. This year really showed the potential that we have with this podcast. We had a point in time where we made a ton of clips, got a lot of views, gained a lot of followers on TikTok and Instagram. And the listener rates, the people who listen to the podcast, the numbers went up significantly. So cannot thank you guys enough for that. We have a lot of plans for the future. We are going to upload more clips, be more consistent with podcast uploads, get Instagram stuff out a lot more, and we are going to really grow this podcast in the 2024-25 season. So I'm grateful. I'm very thankful to be doing this for the last 2 seasons with these 2 guys right here. I cannot be more grateful to be with them. I'm sure they're probably tired of me, but could not be more grateful. Yeah, Jack's nodding his head.
Yeah, you got that right.
I could not be more grateful to.
Wait, no, I was delayed.
Nah, you're lying. He's
I'm
covering
not
up.
lying,
He's
I
covering
swear.
up 100%.
I swear, bro. I swear my
Oh
computer
my
froze.
god.
I don't know. But
Cut.
yeah, I'm eternally grateful to be a part to run this podcast with you guys. So yeah, you guys got anything you want to say to the fans, to me?
Well, yeah, thank you for choosing us a couple years back. And yeah, thanks for all the listeners for helping us grow this year. It's been a great year.
A lot of potential coming. Carter, do you have any like wise quotes to say to end off the 23-24 season?
I mean, usually I'm a good quote guy, but you're kind of putting me on the spot here, so I don't have anything. So I just want to say this. Thanks for coming to us. 3 kids. Well, for the most part, most of us are kids. Me and Jack, I guess, are both 18. But whatever. 3 kids sitting in front of a camera with a microphone, recording a podcast, talking about the sport we love most, with the league we love most, about most of the players we love most, except for the ones that we hate.
Love
So,
you, Stanley.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah. But thank you guys for choosing us. It truly means the world to probably all of us, and we're not done yet.
A lot of potential with this podcast. I would like to say, I'm going to bring up some of the stuff that we posted over the last couple of weeks. Mock drafts, over thousands of likes on Instagram. The redrafts have gotten thousands of likes on Instagram. The TikToks have really improved significantly. When we did our award predictions, we did our all-star team leaderboards. When Jack had some crazy Vezina picks, when we brought on Seth, when we brought on Arda, we got tens of thousands of views throughout the entire season. Like to bring up like the Vezina Trophy pick, 40K likes, 3,000 or 40K views, 3,000 likes from Jack Stolar's pick. That will go down as one of the better moments in this podcast. Bringing on Arda Okal, that was a great interview. We are still very grateful for that. Our award predictions, they all did amazing. And it's definitely bringing on Keegan Oliveira, bringing on other guys that we brought on throughout the pod. It's awesome to really be able to do this. And I'm so grateful that these guys be able to do it with me. And yeah, so we have a really bright future ahead. And I could not be more grateful to be doing it with these 3 guys. So thank you all for watching for episode number 59 of the NordCast. If you enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe down below if you're watching on the YouTube end of things. If you're watching on the podcast end of things, give us a good review. Tell your friends. If you want to follow the TikTok, follow at NordCast. If you want to follow the Instagram, follow at NordCast_. We have seen so much growth from both those, and in the episode analytics too. It's been awesome, and I could go on for forever talking about how awesome this has been with these guys. I'm really looking forward to the future. So thank you all for watching or listening, and we will see you guys in the next episode. Adios.